Dragon Age. The Veilguard BioWare promises another update soon. Dragon Age. The Veilguard received 3 patches with 40 bug fixes and quality-of-life improvements. BioWare has released a new update for Dragon Age, the Veilguard, bringing a handful of improvements to the overall experience, while also squashing a bunch of bugs. Interestingly, the developer makes a point of there being another patch in the works, which it'll talk more about soon. It's possible that BioWare's cooking a more substantial update, but we'll have to wait and see. Reviews and sales suggest an above-average game, but fell slightly short of expectations. Bug fixes include companion glitches, quest issues, and a drowning loop that has been corrected. Highlights include photo mode filters and a selection of user interface-based enhancements. Meanwhile, the bug fixes address all kinds of things, like wonky facial animations and incorrect equipment stats. Among the Dragon Age, the Veilguard bug fixes are changes to Rook's meeting with Emmerich, as now, Rook's body shape will remain the same, and the bizarre facial expression has been removed. Enemies and companions getting stuck on the environment should be less common, and the equally immersion-breaking musical glitches, including no music or the wrong music, has also been corrected. Dragon Age. The Veilguard Patch 3 Patch Notes. Quality of life changes. Arrow keys can now be bound to input mappings. Filters added to photo mode. Screenshot file names from photo mode have been simplified, showing the date the photo was taken. The file path where screenshots are saved is now shown in-game when a screenshot is taken through photo mode. It is now easier to identify where an enchantment has been applied to a companion's equipment. Adjusted the glint option description and settings. New rings can now be compared against both equipped ring slots. A notification now appears when the Crossroads Spirit Merchant is available. Added new icons for some weapons. Bug fixes. Eliminated the causes of a small number of crashes. Rook's body shape no longer changes unexpectedly after a cutscene with Emmerich. Adjusted an odd facial expression when Rook first meets Emmerich. Fixed a rare issue where some of an existing Rook settings got unintentionally reset after making and saving a new Rook. This fix is now also on consoles and retroactively affects saves on all platforms. Adjusted the volume level of Spite's voice in some scenes. Fixed some instances where music would incorrectly stop playing. Fixed some instances where unintended music or sound effects would play. Antom champions now correctly do slightly more damage. Mage Rooks no longer shift to the right awkwardly after performing an extended dodge. The rogue skill Underdog's Bite now correctly lists enhanced damage instead of empowered damage. Fix some instances where enemies could get stuck or were unreachable in some areas. Fix some instances where companions could get stuck on balance beams. Belera can no longer endlessly charge Rook's ultimate outside of combat. Emmerich's attack stat is now displayed correctly at the start of the Where the Dead Must Go quest. Fixed a bug where Emmerich was sometimes not available on the ability wheel during the Where the Dead Must Go quest. Companions' revives are now correctly refilled at the start of the last Gambit quest. The Cataranda now has its correct unique coloring. Fixed an issue with the critical hit and penetration modifiers on the twin-edged pick warrior weapon. Tasha's cape on the Bravain's Legacy armor no longer stretches in cutscenes. The Grey Warden recruit's simple tunic appearance no longer clips uncomfortably through Rook's neck. The Mythal's Light mage weapon now does the intended amount of physical base damage 0. The Mythal's Light mage weapon now does physical damage to enemy health if a physical damage enchantment is applied. Fixed instances where stat bonuses from some Treviso valuables were applied incorrectly. Fixed instances where valuables with stat increases were not all visible in merchant stores. Improved textures on various characters and environment objects. Fixed an issue where VFX could become extremely bright. Fixed several distance pop-in issues. Fixed an issue that caused the camera to stutter when closing the Illuvian interface. Fixes several instances where quest objectives would not update correctly during some quests. The On Deadly Wings quest can now be completed even if the A Slow Poison quest has not been fully completed. The Mayor of Demeda's Crossing no longer appears in 2 places at once during the Lives Spared quest. One of the Revenants will no longer fail to appear in the Crossroads. Fixed an issue where a door would not open during the heights of Atham memory and the regrets of the Dreadwolf quest. The intended 2D cinematic scene now plays after the Shadows Crossing quest. Fixed an issue where the path forward could become blocked in the A Murder of Crows quest. Fixed a blocking issue during the In Entropy's Grass quest. Companions are now present when loading the first autosave made in the Isle of the Gods quest. The HDR calibration setting is now saved correctly between game sessions. Prevented multiple instances where Rook could get stuck while exploring Thedas. One of the Watcher's robe appearance variations is now correctly granted after completing the Disrupt and Conquer memory. Fixed a place in Arlathan Forest where Rook could get stuck in a drowning loop. Fixed instances where Rook forgot they already had the Lyrium dagger and could not interact with treasure chests and altars. Codex entries that were already read will no longer be remarked as unread. Fixed an issue where the scroll bar could get stuck in the codex screen. Enchantments on abilities are now reset correctly when skill tree nodes are reset. The Crossroads Spirit Merchant now shows the intended faction reputation gained for whichever city was blighted when selling valuables. Fixed a rare issue where some skill tree nodes were sometimes unable to be unlocked. Some adjustments to the game credits.